A razor's edge US and Iran on the brink. The world watches with bated breath as the tension between these two nations reaches a fever pitch. The United States and Iran stand locked in a perilous dance. Tensions escalate with each passing day. The threat of war hangs heavy in the air, a constant reminder of the fragile peace. This is not a game of posturing. The stakes are real and the consequences could be catastrophic. This is a deadly serious standoff with both sides unwilling to back down. It could erupt at any moment. Diplomatic efforts have stalled, leaving a dangerous void. The nuclear deal lies in tatters, a symbol of broken promises and shattered trust. Mistrust festers between the two nations, deepening the divide. The specter of conflict looms large, casting a shadow over the region. Both sides have amassed their forces in the region, ready for any eventuality. A powder keg is primed, waiting for a single spark to ignite it. One spark could ignite a conflagration, leading to untold devastation. The world remembers the horrors of past conflicts, the lessons of history etched in our minds. The cost of war is immeasurable, with lives lost and cities reduced to rubble. Lives lost, economies shattered, and futures destroyed. The human toll is beyond comprehension. The stakes have never been higher, with the fate of millions hanging in the balance. The consequences of failure are too dire to contemplate. Leaders must tread carefully. We stand at a crossroads with the future of the region in our hands. One path leads to dialogue and peace, the other to destruction and chaos. The choice is ours to make. Will we choose peace or conflict? The fate of millions hangs in the balance. Will cooler heads prevail, or will we be drawn into war, or will we succumb to the siren song of war, repeating the mistakes of the past? American muscle, a show of force in troubled waters. The US has flexed its military might in response to the Iranian threat, showcasing its advanced naval and aerial capabilities. Diego Garcia, a strategic island base in the Indian Ocean, has been reinforced with additional troops and equipment. It serves as a crucial launchpad for operations in the Middle East, enabling rapid deployment of forces. B-2 stealth bombers, capable of delivering devastating payloads, have been deployed there, ready for any mission. The US Navy maintains a powerful presence in the region, with warships patrolling the waters. The USS Carl Vinson Carrier Strike Group and the USS Harry S. Truman patrol the waters. They project American power and readiness, but they are also vulnerable to potential attacks. Iranian missiles pose a significant threat, capable of reaching US assets in the region. Missile defense systems have been deployed to protect US assets, but are they enough to counter the threat? The US bases in the region are within range of Iranian missiles, making them potential targets. The Iranians boast that these bases are sitting ducks, vulnerable to their missile strikes. The US military presence is a deterrent, aimed at preventing any aggressive actions, but it also risks escalating the situation, leading to a potential conflict. Every ship, every plane, every soldier is a potential target in this high-stakes environment. The US is walking a tightrope, balancing deterrence with the risk of escalation. The sleeping giant stirs Iran's military might. Iran is no stranger to conflict. It has spent decades developing its military capabilities, honing its strategies, and expanding its arsenal to ensure it can defend itself and project power in the region. It is focused on asymmetric warfare, a strategy that allows it to counter more technologically advanced adversaries. This means exploiting the enemy's weaknesses, using unconventional tactics to level the playing field. And Iran believes it has found a critical vulnerability: US bases and carriers, which are spread across the Middle East. Iranian missiles are a constant threat, capable of reaching significant distances. They have the range to strike US targets throughout the region, making them a formidable component of Iran's military strategy. The IRGC, Iran's elite military force, has showcased its arsenal, demonstrating its readiness and capability. They claim they can sink US carriers, a bold claim, but one that cannot be dismissed lightly, but one the US cannot afford to ignore, given the potential consequences of such an action. The Houthis, an Iranian-backed militia in Yemen, have also demonstrated their capabilities, adding another layer to the regional conflict. They have launched missile attacks against US ships, showcasing their reach and intent. One such attack came perilously close to striking the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, highlighting the real and present danger. The message is clear: Iran and its allies will not hesitate to strike, escalating tensions in an already volatile region. Iran has also been strengthening its ties with Russia and China, forming strategic alliances that could shift the balance of power. Joint naval drills have been conducted, showcasing their combined military prowess and cooperation. Iran has unveiled underground missile bases. These are worrying signs, indicating a significant investment in military infrastructure. They suggest that Iran is preparing for a wider conflict, one that could have far-reaching implications for global security. Section 4, A Tangled Web. Geopolitics and the Shadow of War. The current crisis is not just about military might. It is also about geopolitics. The United States and Iran have been locked in a struggle for regional dominance for decades. The 2015 nuclear deal offered a brief respite, but that deal is now dead. The Trump administration has taken a hard line against Iran. It has reimposed sanctions. It has issued ultimatums. Iran has refused to be bullied. It insists on indirect talks. It will not negotiate under duress. The United States has aligned itself with Israel. Israel sees Iran as an existential threat. It has pushed the United States to take a more aggressive stance. This has further inflamed the situation. The United States is facing a more assertive Iran. It is no longer the dominant power in the region. Its influence is waning. This has emboldened Iran. It senses an opportunity to challenge American hegemony. Section 5. The Price of Conflict. Economic tremors on the horizon. War is not just a humanitarian disaster, it is an economic one. The United States is already facing an economic crisis. Trump's trade policies have backfired. The trade deficit is widening. Tariffs have hurt American businesses. A war with Iran would exacerbate these problems. It would send oil prices soaring. It would disrupt global trade. It would cost billions, if not trillions of dollars. The United States economy would be crippled. Iran would also suffer economically, but it is used to hardship. It has been under sanctions for years. It has learned to adapt. It would likely retaliate by targeting oil fields in the region. This would further destabilize the global economy. The economic consequences of war would be felt worldwide. Recessions, inflation, and job losses would be inevitable. The world cannot afford another conflict. Section 6. The abyss gazes back, unforeseen consequences. War is unpredictable. It is impossible to predict how a conflict with Iran would unfold. It could escalate quickly. It could draw in other countries. It could spiral out of control. The United States might achieve a swift military victory, but it would be a Pyrrhic victory. It would further destabilize the Middle East. It would create more terrorists. It would make the United States less safe. A war with Iran would also have profound consequences for the global order. It would signal the end of the rules-based international system. It would usher in an era of chaos and uncertainty. The stakes are incredibly high. We must proceed with caution. We must exhaust all diplomatic options. War should be a last resort. Section 7. A Glimmer of Hope. Diplomacy's Last Stand. Despite the heightened tensions, there is still a glimmer of hope. Both sides have left the door open for diplomacy. The United States has expressed a willingness to engage in direct talks with Iran. Iran, while rejecting direct talks under threat, has hinted at the possibility of third-party negotiations. The international community has a crucial role to play in facilitating dialogue. The UN, the EU, and regional powers must urge both sides to exercise restraint. They must work to de-escalate the situation and create conditions conducive to meaningful negotiations. Time is of the essence. The longer this standoff continues, the greater the risk of miscalculation or an unintended incident sparking a conflict. The consequences of such a conflict would be catastrophic. The path to peace is fraught with obstacles, but it is the only path worth taking. The world is watching, hoping, and praying that cooler heads will prevail.